that by doing some guardrail. The project was intended to widen the road by 2 feet, to repave the road, and to improve drainage in a couple of locations. What I have here, and I'll leave with your staff, is all of the steps that it took us to go through that project. It was initially approved in 2001. Construction was completed just after Labor Day in 2010. It's almost 9 years to get through that. The county, during the meantime, was subjected to several wrongful death lawsuits and some unfortunate accidents that probably could have been prevented had that project been able to move more quickly. I had some other things, but I think what I'll do now is just skip to the proposals, which is what the chairman wished for. We have 2 concrete proposals. These are off the National Association of County Engineers platform. We would like to see all projects using federal funds of $1 million or less be basically exempt from NEPA if they're in wholly owned and already operating public right-of-ways. We just don't see that you're getting much bang for your buck. We don't see that you're really meaningfully studying anything that has a large environmental impact. If you're not widening the road, you're simply trying to improve a curve, you're trying to improve drainage, you're trying to maybe put better signage up, types of things like that, guardrails. To take nine years to go through a guardrail project just seems absurd. So they should be just categorically exempt. The second is that we believe the federal resource agencies are unlikely to be funded at a high enough level to ensure staffing that gets the permitting done quickly. We all respect what they do, but when it takes 2 to 2.5 years to get an Army Corps permit, sometimes 1.5 years to get a biological opinion for something that may be endangered but nobody's ever seen. It takes forever to get simple projects done. That's what you'll see when you look through this. This is study after study after study after study. All of them basically need to be done. You need to do them sequentially, and if you miss one, you got to go back and start over again. So we think that if the resource agencies had 60 days to review a permit and decide whether or not they think they need to issue one, and then if they do need to issue one, they have another 60 days to issue the permit for a total of 120 days, that should be sufficient time to find out if there's an important environmental issue to be studied. If there's not, we'd like it to be deemed approved so we can move on and get the business of the public projects built. These things only get more expensive the longer you go. The last is maintaining the bridge program, which I already spoke of, so I think at that I'll just kind of wrap it up. We know you're not going to get this a whole lot more money. We know we're probably going to have to be good stewards of the environment. We take those roles willingly. We just want to be able to get through the process more effectively. Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Very good. Thank you. Right on target. Let's go to Scott Mosher, and he is the Assistant Director of Public Works, the City of Fresno. Welcome, sir, and you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and good morning. And so on behalf of Mayor Ashley Swearingen and the City of Fresno, I really want to thank Chairman Micah and Representative Denham for bringing this down to the local level. And we hope that our input is beneficial to you as you work toward a desperately needed extension of the Surface Transportation Program and all the other federal programs. We really want to focus in on the goals of the committee toward cutting costs, towards streamlining the project delivery. We believe when the Congress puts forth dollars into wanting to repair roads and bridges, that the goal is to repair those roads and bridges, not to have the money chewed up in a bureaucratic process. Excuse me. So with we have a few things in mind. Just number one, we want to kind of establish that we have extensive experience with federal projects. Just the last 10 years alone, we've dealt with over 200 federally funded projects. And as others have shared, if federal funds are involved, we do recognize that the project cost is going to be higher due to the complex rules and time frame involved in delivering the project. So I'd like to offer the committee a number of concrete proposals, as Mr. Wright did, with the goal of delivering more, more brick and mortar, more asphalt and concrete in the ground. A few specific items, and again, a number of these are going to get into the details of the process with federal highways, with Caltrans, those types of rules that we deal with. First one is currently there's a process of 3 different phases of the project, and there's allowing an agency only to proceed in incremental steps. First authorize design, then it often takes several months to get authorization to purchase right away, and again, a process several months long to go to construction. We've had a very positive experience with a couple of state-funded programs where California is elected to give a one-step allocation to that agency. Just a couple of minor programs on safe routes to school and on some bike lane projects. But they've allowed a one-step process, and we believe that would be appropriate for simple projects where it's within the existing right-of-way. Example, asphalt concrete overlay of a street or road, simple traffic signal installation where the work's all within the right-of-way. Let the city or county go ahead. They know the rules of engagement. They do something wrong, that would be picked up in an audit type of process at the end. And we're not looking for a way to avoid federal regulations, but simply a way to streamline and let that project get into construction more quickly. Just another item worth noting is when we actually decide up front how much money goes into a project, and there's a decision as to how much will it cost to design, how much will it cost to be in construction, there's tremendous leeway for that agency and their particular, what's called the MPO or the COG, to decide how much money needs to go into that project. Once the project starts, however, to make any adjustment between the phases, say if we can spend $20,000 on engineering to save $100,000 in construction, that process alone can take several months to a year to get authorization to do that. And again, we feel that it would be very advantageous for delivering these projects if, again, there's opportunity for more flexibility for the states, the cities, and counties to structure these projects and move them forward. Another item I wanted to speak to, again, is environmental. Just that if a project is within the right-of-way, or even if a project is consistent with a city or county's general plan. For example, if there have already been environmental studies that say this road needs to be 4 lanes wide, and local funds are building a portion, and here we have a federal project to build a piece of that segment. If it's consistent with that agency's general plan, their planning efforts, then that would make sense to streamline and move it forward. The last area would be, or a couple more areas. One would be reporting on the recent Recovery Act projects. There was a lot of emphasis on reporting of how many jobs were created. And just wanted to highlight for us, as a city of Fresno, 5th largest city, we actually expended about 40 hours of staff time a month just providing the data on job creation. And again, I submit to the committee that there are economic experts who can speak to if the Congress puts $25 billion into road resurfacing, there are statistics on how many jobs that $25 billion report, that we don't need to, project by project, speak to, did a $400,000 project create 2 jobs, 3, what have you. Another item would just be with respect to private funding. One of the committee goals that we've heard is increasing private investment in projects, and there may be opportunity to create a matching type of program. Say, for example, if there's development in an area or redevelopment, an effort toward revitalization, if you had property owners, developers who wanted to assess themselves and to make improvements, that'd be an opportunity to create a partnership between those private dollars and the public funds. Again, the goal being how can we better deliver these projects? How can we move them into construction more quickly? Again, thank you for the opportunity to be here, and glad to answer any questions.
Thank you for your comments and suggestions. Let's go to Gary. Is it Higdon? Just like it was. And
yes.
Mr. Higdon is the president of the Transportation Business